So in this little interaction, I'd like to talk to you about your style of making this film. A little bit more about the formal choices that you made. So right off the top, I want to say that it was a hybrid documentary, right? You had fictional enactments, you had a little bits of direct voice to camera, and then there were many moments when we see the actress who plays her, who speaks in her own voice. So how did you come up with this idea, I mean, formally, film-wise, like this kind of technique? Why did you want to do it this way?
If I want to talk about the style, first, I don't know how to make a documentary, so that's one challenge that.
That's fine.
So that is one reason that pushed me for to do what I know.
Yeah.
And then when I was doing research in Kattankudy for 2 years, so all the women I spoke to, they said, you can use our story, but not our face,
Exactly.
not our name. And then okay, so what I can do with that? And then COVID happened, and it made even worse what I can do.
Yeah.
So I have to think about other possibilities, think out of the box, what I can do with this, the situation, the characters. And I wrote more than 40 scripts to come to this point to see how we can do this kind of form to be made. Then when I went to making the film, in Kattankudy it's not easy because it's after the Eastern Sunday bombing attack. So all the people in Kattankudy were worried and they were cautious about what's happening, who's this coming with the camera and all. But then again, it's just after Eastern Sunday bombing, the Al Jazeera, BBs all were there. So they want to help the media to tell their stories, but also be in the safe space. So even that made an impact on making the film. So after doing all that, I went to edit, and then became this. So I don't know, it's just form that I want to do it, but it's organically happened how.
Because that struck me very much, that the film is called Face Cover, but the style of making it, we have to preserve the fact that we actually don't see many faces. So that in itself is a very interesting challenge, right? How to do it. The other thing I was very struck by is, just to talk about India and Sri Lanka in this context, that just a small example that we had in Godhra, in Gujarat, we had this pogrom, these communal riots, and there was a huge displacement of people and women. And once women entered, left mixed localities, right, and entered single space, single community localities, which is what happened in places like Ahmedabad, etc. So the policing of women became very intense post that. So I was also struck by here what happens when the community withdraws. So could you speak a little bit about that, because that's also
in Sri Lanka war context. So everybody knows what happened between the Tamil militants and the army. Not about the Muslim community who were displaced and evicted by the LDT in the north. So I wanted to touch that part. And then when I did research on that, it's the women who affected more. So not just that civil war, but in, let's say, COVID, Easter bombing, displacement, everything, it affects women first because the state rules, So in Kattankudy, so all the villages near Kattankudy is Tamil dominant villages where Muslims used to be there. So after the war, they felt scared. So they went to Kattankudy because the Muslims thought Kattankudy is their motherland because a lot of Muslims are there. So when they moved, the Muslim Federation in Kattankudy, they asked the Muslims from the Tamil village to wear particular clothes because they come from this Tamil area, their attire is completely different. They don't wear their head. So they have to change, So, and then women, they want their husband to, go to work because, so it affects women in general. So I want to bring that aspect.
Yeah, so that
as well.
I thought was very interesting. The other thing I felt, actually, I want to, congratulate you your courage to take on what are actually very conservative forces within Muslim society, and I think to even bring a little critique or a little that exploration is I think very good. But how will the community receive that in the when they watch the film, for example?
I haven't screened this film in
As
Kattankudy yet. To be honest, I'm a bit scared because it's still the Kattankudy community are, getting there to be progressive and all that. But I've screened it in universities in Colombo, in Jaffna. So when I screen in Jaffna, this is where the most Tamil, LTT community. So they criticized me that I am a jihadi Muslim-funded guy because I'm talking about what happened to the Muslim community. And then when I screened in Colombo, it's a different context. It's like, also in universities, the Muslim Majlis issue, they were like, did you get the permission from the university to post these pictures in your film? I'm like, it's already there. And so, different places, people have different opinions. Receive you differently. So.
Okay. Now, this might sound like a very sort of ignorant question. Please forgive me. But it was in my mind that, they may be Muslim, but they're also Tamil.
Yeah.
So why did the LTT, what is that relationship that they attack them?
So
they don't see them as Tamil. What is this?
Early days in northern province in Sri Lanka, there are a lot of Muslims were there. And in LTT history, the first suicide bomber is a Muslim person. So there's a history where Muslims were part of LTT. But the other side is Muslims were supported the state. So, the conflict started there. Okay. So the LTT felt like keeping Muslims in the northern province may affect them in the future to become the Tamil state. So, Tamil but Muslims, we can't deal with that. That's the politics inside.
Okay, thank you.